Okay, good morning. Last time we ended off with the pasuk, actually very interesting pasuk. It says, Beni mifatach hatayim al tova, which means my child, if sinners entice you, do not consent. We discussed that that really is when the Yetzer Hara comes to you, he doesn't try to make games with you. He just says, he packages up something as pleasure, and then when you do it, you end up realizing, what the heck did I do? Right? Like, when you eat, I remember in camp, we always used to have this, middle of the night, you sleep at camp, we'll eat like burgers, then you wake up like, why did I do that? Same thing here, Rabbi Netanel also says you could build up your life for years, you could destroy it in 10 seconds. You do something wrong with a G, you do something wrong with a guy in work, you end it in 10 seconds. So he's saying here, when the Yetzer Hara comes, do not consent, meaning don't even have the Gemara talks about a hava amina, don't even have a hava amina with this Yetzer Hara, kish it right away. We discuss also in therapy, there's a concept called thought, feeling, and action, right? The second you have a thought, then you have a feeling, then you have an action. But with the Yetzer Hara, don't even have the thought, kish it right away, then you won't even have that avirat to come with.
How could someone unthink something though? If a thought tries to come into their mind, when you tell yourself not to think of something, naturally you start thinking of it.
Interesting what you're saying. Not think about it, just push it away. Meaning think about something else right away. I'm sure you had things in your life that you
think of something else.
Think of something else right away, which will overcome that, because we know the Yetzer Hara, the way Yetzer Hara works, he opens up something, goes slowly, and then he slowly pushes you to do something else. When it comes to this item with the Yetzer Hara, if you think about something else, it won't even come to your head in the first place, and you start pushing it away, and then even if you push it for 30 seconds, it won't come back right away. So now he continues on and he says, which means, he's actually saying an interesting thing. He says, if they say, which is these people, they tell you, these sinners, come with us, let us wait in ambush for bloodshed, let us lurk for an innocent one without cause. Continue on the next page. Nivalem kishoel chaim utumim kiyerde bor. Let the grave, let us swallow them alive, whole like those descending into the pit. So let's discuss this. Let's discuss this piece by piece. Now Shlomo Melech now peels back what he was talking about before. In pasuk Yud, he was saying, if sinners entice you, do not consent. What exactly do these sinners say? And here's what the sales pitch is right here. They say, come with us. Let's ambush the innocent. Let's spill blood for no reason. We'll swallow them alive, like the grave swallows men whole. Now, at first glance, right, this sounds pretty extreme. Who among us was ever tempted by murder? None of us. But Shlomo isn't really talking about violent crime. He's showing us that there's an inner language really here with temptation, which is a voice of evil when it's fully exposed. And we'll go step by step. Now, the first thing that he's talking about is not pleasure, it's not freedom, it's something called belonging. Right? Lecha itanu, when the pasuk says, come with us, the general pull of a human being is not really logic, it's a desire to be part of a group. If you think about it, most times when we get part of something, when we do something wrong, it's nothing logic. We want to be part of something. Think about teenagers who are falling into bad habits. Right? Why do they start smoking? Why do they start drinking? Why do they start cursing? Because all their friends are doing it. It's rarely because they ever studied what smoking gives them, what drinking gives them, all these things. Everyone is doing it, so why not? They wanted to feel belonged by the group. Most start just being part of that group. Peer pressure, as we're seeing here, it's ancient. Shlomo Melech is talking about this 3,000 years ago. And actually, the Gra, the Vilna Gaon writes that the most dangerous part of the invitation is not the sin itself, but the words of with us. Meaning, once you join the group, that's when already the issue happens. So now, let's continue. It says, now let's spill blood, right? That means, who would really say this openly? The Al-Sheikh HaKadosh says something fascinating. He says that Shlomo Melech he's dramatizing, he's making this dramatic, the final part of the sin, the result. Why? Because even if the Yetzer Hara doesn't talk about blood per se, every Avera contains some sort of destruction. Right? This destruction is really blood, technically.
It's going to kill the person?
So now we'll go through a couple of examples. Lashon Hara, for example, destroys reputations. Right? Bloodshed of the tongue, they call it. Humiliating someone in public, the Gemara talks about, right? Shfichut damim. It's like you're spilling blood. Stealing or cheating someone is like spilling blood because he's considered dead from being one of the poor is dead, right? So that's really the idea. The idea is that all of these things at some point, slowly, they lead to that. Like what we said from the beginning, on Friday, each thing is a small item. Goes, opens. Pitchuli petach shel machat, like they say about positive things, could be also about negative things. Mitzvah keneged mitzvah, aveda, avera, Avra leads to another Avra. Now, continue on to the next couple words. Niftzala lenaki chinam, which means let's ambush the innocent for no reason. Here's actually the interesting part, that sinners don't really need a reason. Even evil connotations and stuff often really dress up as in fake causes. An example is that, the Yetzirah purest form is that be part of this, you'll be happier. Do this, it'll make your life better. In modern,
is this alluding to the story of Yosef at all?
we spoke about this last time, yeah.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, we spoke about it, yeah. In modern terms, what is this? Most people today, when they hurt someone, they're hurting for no reason. What's the gain? You're not gaining anything. You just feel low about yourself. So you're gaining pleasure for yourself. Nothing personal. Nothing else is happening in the world. You're just benefiting yourself. An example: this is, trolling people online, bullying, all these things. You're hurting someone for no reason, just for your own personal gain. Cruelty, right? Laughing someone who's weaker than you to gain your personal. We had a shiur on Shabbat, and someone asked a question in the shiur, and the whole shul started laughing. It was terrible.
Recently?
It was on Friday, on Shabbat. It was terrible.
Why is it a dumb question?
It wasn't a dumb question, just that there was someone in the shul and people thought it was a stupid question, so people left. But then my father-in-law got up there, he's like, you know why she asked the question? Because she cares deeply about that person. To see, basically the question was a story about a girl who got lost. So the lady asked, how old was that person? And everyone in the shul started laughing, like, why does it matter? So my father was like, no, she actually asked because she cares about what age that person is.
Yeah, she's being empathetic.
She's being empathetic. And everyone was like, we didn't laugh about her because of that. You did, bro. Like, who are you kidding? Like, it wasn't like you didn't laugh with her, you laughed at her. Because no one else was laughing. She was not laughing. And you could tell you killed her.
Right.
Or you killed a person. You don't realize what you do. You'll do something in public. You say something about someone, and that's really killing the person. Now comes Pasuk 12, Pasuk Yud Bet. He says, Nivalem keshoel chaim. Why is he saying that we'll swallow them alive like the shoel? Right? Because sinners, right, entice with the thrill of power, the concept that we're better, we have more. For example, consuming gangs, crime, toxic workplaces, that's really the concept of dominating others. That's really the temptation, that we have to be better, so we're on top of that person. Shlomo here is saying something fascinating, that the Yetzirah promises you power, but in reality, like he says, he brings from the Pasuk, they become like the grave itself, empty, dark, swallowing everything but never satisfied. Actually, I think the best musar a person could ever have is to go to Levaya. When you realize, we come from the ground and we go back to the ground, that really wakens up a person, like, what am I doing in my life? To just realize, why am I here? Why am I, especially during this time of Aseret Yemei Teshuvah, to understand, what am I bringing to the world? And we're not leaving with anything. Actually, there's a story of I think it was the Reichman family. When he passed away, he told his son, he said, okay, I'm passing away, open up this letter right when I pass away, and in 30 days, open up a second letter. He left him 2 letters. Okay, he passes away. The family opens up a letter. He's like, my dear children, I have one request. Please bury me with my socks. Everyone was like, what's going on? What does that mean, bury with socks? They're trying to find a heter. You can't bury someone with you have to bury him naked. They're trying to find a heter, this, that. They're going to different rabbis all over the world, all over Israel. They're trying to find a heter. The richest family, like richest Jewish family.
True story.
True story, yeah. Trying to find they're going all over this, that. Can't find that heter. Like, please, give us one. He was a big Torah. He gave a lot of money to yeshivot. Nothing. 30 days pass. I was like, we let down our dad. Our dad's probably upset at us in Shamayim. He's so upset, this, that. 3 days pass. They open the next letter. He's like, my dear children, as you can tell, you can't even bury yourself with your socks. Please do something useful with your life. Crazy, and they all woke up. This was the richest Jewish family in the world, the Reichman family, So that's really an idea. The idea is that, the Yetzirah is trying to promise you, he's promising you a life that doesn't exist. And then when you get there, you realize, what the heck did I do? So now, how can we apply this idea to our lives? That most of us aren't really tempted by physical murder, like he's saying here. But we know gossip kills people, wasting time, bad influences. What the Yetzirah says, come with us. A few clicks, usually online, are hours swallowed whole. Think of Instagram, TikTok. You sit there for 2 minutes, you end up seeing an hour later, shoot, I could have run a Daf Gemara. I could have learned, Masechet Mishnayot, Horayot. You could finish Masechet Horayot in 5 minutes. No, Jack? You could tell us how quick, I think we should have another Siyum next week. Now every sin has an echo of this. Neva'atam keshol chaim, meaning it consumes life, it consumes time, and it consumes your spiritual energy. The Zohar brings down that every single thing you do lowers you down, but every single positive thing you do could also bring you up. So Shlomo Melech is really training us here. He's giving us the enemy's playbook. What does the enemy say? First comes belonging, come with us. Then comes the justification. It says it's nothing, just innocent and fun. And then it comes the destruction, which is swallowing lives, not just others, but yours as well. But if we recognize this pattern that first come with us, the belonging, then comes the justification, and then comes the destruction, we can break that pattern from the beginning. We hear the enticement for what the enticement really is, and a path that really ends in darkness, so we can end it from the beginning. So as we know, just to take away from this idea, the strongest temptation is not logic, but belonging. So an example of this is choose your friends wisely and choose your surroundings. For example, you should be by the 8 o'clock minyan because it's surrounded by Torah before and after. Right, Jack? Every Averah contains this concept of hidden violence, that it takes away life, not just from someone else, but also from yourself. The Chaim, what is Chaim? Chaim is not just being alive, it's living the life that you're alive. And, it begins with words and ends with the concept of destruction. And that's really, when we live with Shlomo Melech's clarity from these two Pesukim, B'ezrat Hashem, we don't just avoid sin, but we will protect our dignity and our neshama and our future, B'ezrat Hashem. We'll pick it up tomorrow.